Hey everyone, Digital David here. Today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the BenQ IdeaCam S1 PRO. I did receive this sample directly from BenQ, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. Here's a look at the retail box and packaging. Everything looks really nice. They walk you through a couple of key features. 8 megapixel Sony sensor, 15x magnifying lens. This version does come with a remote controller, privacy shade, up to 3264 by 2448p at 30 FPS, AI noise reduction, 3 camera modes, and an auto switch mode. I'm really excited to try out those features. So now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the contents. Here are all the contents. First up, you'll notice our product literature with customer service and contact information. We have regulatory and warranty info, some additional features being highlighted, and we have our quick start guide here, walking us through everything we need to know to get this all set up and ready to go, from what's included, how to install it. Here's the back side with continued setup on your computer and getting everything plugged in correctly. Next, you'll notice we have a USB dongle here with BenQ's logo and branding, magnetic privacy cover, 2 AAA batteries. We have our macro lens. We have our remote control. This is fantastic. If you've ever used any of BenQ's products, like their screen lights, right, any of their screen bars, this is going to be a very similar experience to you with high quality construction and design. So I love these controls. Oh my goodness, can't wait to try that out and have it for a webcam. How sweet is that? Then we have our stand. This is also very similar to other screen bar and BenQ products. You'll notice with this weight here at the bottom, our counterweight, we actually have a threaded connector underneath too if you want to use this with a tripod. So you have that functionality too, depending on your installation. And lastly, we have the camera itself with BenQ's logo and branding, a nice black braided USB Type-A cable. You'll see where the mount's going to attach right there. BenQ IdeaCam there. Up at the top, a couple of quick controls for you. Now let's go ahead, let's get everything set up. So you're looking at everything set up, well, mostly set up. We still have to plug in the USB dongle and the webcam, but for you, very simple and straightforward to get everything up and running. Attach and install the 2 included AAA batteries with a nice magnetized cover. Plug this in and now you have remote control access. For the webcam itself, you'll notice on our BenQ Mobius monitor that the installation process is super simple and straightforward. Place the base on your monitor, make any adjustments that you need, and then just lock it in place. And then lastly, you'll take your webcam and just set it on the stand. There you go. Everything's ready to go. I like this mount a lot because we can easily remove the camera to then highlight maybe some sketches, drawings, paper, whatever we have here that we want to maybe show somebody that we're conferencing with. You can do that right here. And don't forget, you can get up close and personal with the macro attachment as well. So I'm really excited to test all of this out. So let's plug in our webcam and let's try it out. All right, so here's our BenQ IdeaCam sample footage. This is all being routed and recorded through OBS at the moment at 1920, 1080p, 30 FPS. That's what you're seeing from the webcam preview right here. Auto focus, auto exposure, auto everything. You're also listening to the raw mic audio quality. So hopefully this gives you a feel for how everything's going to look and to sound if you want to use this as your webcam. Want to point out a really cool feature, and it's the ability for this to basically adjust the image picture on its own. So it did that on its own right here to basically flip it around for us depending on what we're showing. If we tilt the camera down and if we bring it back up, it's going to do the exact same thing right there. But look at that. It's your preview. So cool. Hey, check this out on my desk. Boom, picture's gonna change. And let's bring it back up. Boom, there we go. We're back with everything as you would expect. So it's great that it does that hands-free, no clicking, no rotating, or anything like that. Now I wanna talk about the built-in light on this camera. Yes, you'll notice up here at the top, we have our light button. So let's do it. There it is, light on, light off. You get the idea. So let's go ahead, let's have some fun. Let's turn off all of our studio lights and let's see how the light does. I feel like I should be telling you guys a spooky story right now, but here we go. We have all the studio lights off. We just have some light from, well, a BenQ monitor in the background, giving us a little bit of this nice glow right here. But it's doing way better in this low light environment than I ever thought it would be able to do. Let's go ahead, let's turn the light on. Hey, look at that, it actually adds some light to our face. Look at that, that's a pretty substantial difference right there. So I'm glad we're able to actually showcase what it's able to do. That's a fairly diffuse light. I actually think it looks pretty good. Not too bright, reflecting. And that's less than an arm's length away from my face is what we're holding the camera at. So you get the idea. If we had it further back, it's still going to make an impact, which is really nice. So off, on, you get the idea there. And just for fun, there it is in the dark. And let's shine it on our controller here. So we have it off, on, off, on. Not bad. Now it's time to try out the macro lens. Let's add it to the camera right here, and I'm gonna be nice and fuzzy, but watch what happens. So I want to show somebody this motherboard here, and look at this. Look at the attention to detail. So it will be able, I mean, look at that. That's just one capacitor right there. How cool is that? So you can get this really close to your electronics, maybe like this motherboard here. And I'm able to show you guys that with the macro setting. Look at these little pins and connectors. I mean, that is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So cool. Hey, I'm not sure if this works. Well, let's check it out. I mean, look at the detail there. So yes, you basically have to put the thing right up into the lens. But on this motherboard, I mean, look at that. That is so cool. And then further back, it's going to be fuzzy. Right up close though, bam, you can read everything, troubleshoot as needed. Let's have a little fun on the back side. I mean, just look at this. Look at the detail there. Maybe you need to read something. It's really small. You'll be able to do it. How about a port? How's my USB port look? I don't know, but now you do, right? So incredible macro mode. Definitely a highlight for me with this. That was what I was most excited about. Well, the macro lens and the remote control, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna test this out now. And I do wanna point out that it does not work to control the webcam through OBS, which is quite a bummer to me. I really thought we'd be able to use this remote control hands-free, and I was thinking from like a content creator's perspective that it'd be super valuable to be able to have this so when you're live streaming, you could zoom in or out and just do it right at your fingertips versus having to open up additional software. So I'm bummed about that, so we'll try it out within their software to see how it works. All right, now we're in the BenQ Inspire software. Technically, you just have to sign in online and it's all done through your browser. So we're currently in Chrome right now. Unfortunately though, I've noticed that the performance just doesn't seem to be there, as maybe you've noticed here. It just seems to be a little bit behind. It feels like it's slow and laggy. It's not super responsive compared to when we were using OBS, but we'll still walk through the features, and now we'll be able to try out the remote. Still disappointed that we don't have the ability to use this outside of this software. I really hope they can change that in the future, because if they don't, for me personally, it's not worthwhile. I route everything through OBS, so this isn't going to be very helpful to me. But it would make this camera really great for live streaming for me if we had the ability to use OBS and the remote control. I really want to have that functionality. But let's dive in to the software. We'll look at all the settings, and then I'll let you know what we can change with the remote as well. But basically, it's everything that you see right here. So first up in the bottom left-hand corner, let's go to our settings. So you'll notice we have a couple different options. Our source settings. So we have our camera selected. We have our image settings. We have different profiles, default, portrait, high quality, or demo. Pick and choose which one you want, or create a new profile or import a profile. Here's our resolution adjustments. So 1920 1080 is what I have. We can go up to 3264 by 2448, but that is not full 4K. So keep that in mind. So 1080 it is for me, especially using the browser. Want to try to get the best performance possible. Auto white balance, we can toggle that on or off. Brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, you get the idea there. So we have all those image settings. Then we can apply a filter if you want to do some portrait filters. Pretty cool that we have that option. Color tones. If you're using documents, pick and choose what you want depending on what you feel like, or maybe what you're showcasing or displaying with this camera. Then we have their support and about section down below. Then we have some additional tools here on the side, a nice toolbar. We have a ruler. So this is pretty neat. Look at that. We can add different things to the screen. So cool. Pretty impressive if you ask me. That we have all those options right there for our ruler. Next, we have our keystone correction options. So you'll notice we have horizontal and vertical adjustments that we can make. Again, a lot of flexibility and freedom. The software is really cool. I just wish it was a little bit more responsive. So we can reset that too. Really up to you. Then you'll notice we have a horizontal flip, a vertical flip, and a rotation. So we could rotate the picture however we want. So really up to you. And then we have our zoom functionality all the way up to 3.5. Hey! So then we can bring that back down there. Down at the bottom, we have our portrait mode. Again, it tells you so what each mode is. So bring out your best image versus highest quality versus if you're demonstrating and showing documents, presenting, things like that, you'll want that mode. Then we have our edit icon here. So we can save, erase. You get the idea for, yes, a photo. So we can take that photo, saves as a PNG. We can also take a video. This is pretty cool. Here we go. Hey, we're taking a video. Here's our video right here. Done. That's going to save it as well. Again, this is all browser based. And then we have a freeze. So if I freeze it, we're frozen. Hey, you can't even see me. Well, I'm on the screen. It's just frozen in that picture. And then you can press it again and it comes back right there. Here's a couple different focus options, autofocus versus manual focus. So pick and choose which one you want. And then we have our mute option. Now you can't hear me. Now you can hear me. So you get the idea there. Nice, easy settings right at your fingertips. Now let's try out the remote control. On the remote, you'll notice we have our autofocus or manual focus. We have our mute. We have our freeze and we have our focus. So let's go ahead. Let's push auto to manual. So you get the idea right there. We just pressed it and it's lagging, but we have our auto versus manual focus. Super interesting there that really slowed down the software. Now we have our mute. So there's our mute. Now it's unmuted. We have our freeze. All right, we've frozen the image there. Yes. All right, and then we can unfreeze. So that's really responsive. And then we have our focus right there. Do you want to focus in on that area? So that's what it's working on. So I don't know why the autofocus, manual focus was causing us some trouble there when we were holding it down. Maybe that was why. Yeah, so if we hold it down, it causes some issues there. But if we just press it one time, it will work itself out eventually. Super interesting there. So that's a little hack for you, I guess, with the software. You have the ability to do that. And you'll notice we have our photo button. So we can take some photos again. There we go. It'll snap, take, and you're all set. Lastly, what I was most excited for with the remote control was the ability to zoom. That is right here. Look at that. And we can zoom back out. It's a lot slower to zoom out. But there you go. That's the remote control. It's really cool, super clever. I'm just hoping in the future there's a way to make this work with the IdeaCam, not within the Inspire software. Let me spend one more minute actually showing you the portrait settings here. I know I clicked and mentioned them, but basically if you wanted to, you could doodle on the screen, different colors, different sizes, save notes. You get the idea. But basically we can doodle here, have a little fun, and then it'll save our image and all that right there for you. easily available too, right? So we can pull up our downloads and they're right within our PC here. In case you're wondering, PNG files, the video shows up as a WEBM file. So keep that in mind. Let's see if we can play that. We'll open up VLC player.
Here we go. Hey, we're taking a video. Here's our video.
And it works
right here.
great. So interesting that it's not MP4, so just keep that in mind. You might have to do some additional conversions if that's what you need. Don't forget about using your privacy cap and cover. This is great because it's magnetized, but I do wish that they had it designed in a way that it slid on and off or something like that, so you didn't have to worry about storing a loose piece of plastic, the lens cover, on your desk. Maybe a way to mount it or have a magnet in the base too, so that it could attach for easy storage when you're using the camera. But it is nice and thoughtful that we do have the privacy cover. Now, let me share with you my final thoughts in regards to the BenQ IdeaCam. Honestly, I had very high expectations and hopes for this webcam, and unfortunately it didn't deliver, but I'd also say I wasn't being realistic. Now, it's not a matter of hardware, build quality, or design. This is a fantastic webcam at this price point, very highly competitive. And it's got a remote control and a fixed macro lens, two things I was so excited about. One, I'm still excited about. The other one, thanks to their own software. But with this particular camera, sure, we want to see better image quality and audio quality. That always comes with time as they release newer and newer models as technology becomes more and more affordable and gets better and better. You get the idea there. But with this particular webcam, it's really clever. They do such a good job making it portable to be able to share your screen, your video with somebody else. And it's very thoughtful in its design with built-in rulers, the auto rotating mode for us, really clever, and it's a great collaboration tool. But it's being held back by the software using that browser-based extension, whatever you want to call it, just not good enough. It's not there yet. So for me in particular, with my use case, I was really hoping to have this become a live streaming camera where I could have a remote on my desk and to be able to control it to zoom in or out, things like that. Also want to showcase PC parts, components up close. So again, I had really big expectations for this. The macro lens did not disappoint. It is a fixed lens, so keep that in mind. You have to get it to a certain distance away for this to work. If not, it's going to be blurry, fuzzy, whatever you want to call it, but that is normal. Again, fixed lens, fantastic macro lens. This is really cool. So if you are looking for a macro lens for a webcam, look no further. They have you covered. If you are looking for a remote controlled webcam, maybe you'll have better luck in the software than we did, but I'm holding out hope that someday you'll be able to use this remote control within OBS to integrate, as opposed to having to use your Chrome browser and their software. It just wasn't doing it for me in my use case, but your use case could be completely different and it could be everything you want and need. For me in the future though, we got to free it up from the software to be able to have it more open source to use within OBS so we can take full advantage of this remote, because this is awesome. Also for me, I'd love to see full 4K 30 FPS support. If you give me both of those two things, this hands down will be the best webcam on the market. And I love the built-in light too. I didn't even talk about that anymore, but a great built-in light. It's just nice we even have that feature. So really, really well thought out, fantastic hardware. I can't stress enough how much I like the hardware on this camera, but unfortunately for me, the software is really what's holding it back.